So I'm just going to start the recording now and let Steve and Andy talk to you guys. What's up?
Hey, thanks, Scott. What's up, Andy?
Hey, Steve. Hi, Scott. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody. All right, welcome to the Tuesday webinar. Coming off a long weekend. Feels like a Monday, but it is a Tuesday. And hello, everybody. We see you guys in the questions panel. Good to see the webinar attendance just is growing. It's nice to see, which sometimes makes it hard on us to get to all the questions. Just a reminder, if we miss a question, we'll have that email for you, info@trade-ideas.com. You can always create a support ticket just by sending us an email there. All right, so the disclaimer, trade of the week, just a reminder, we're a software as a subscription company, and myself, Andy, and I are traders of our own account, but anything you see or hear is really just our own opinion, and it's no way to be taken as financial advice. Even though we'll look at a couple of charts later, those are really just our personal opinions that you learn of this program and how to speak to it. That is a platform for what it is you want to see, whether you're a low float scalper on a 1 minute chart, or if you're a swing trader who wants to slow things down, kind of like myself and Andy, and the trade of the week, which we'll talk about. So Barry's room is always open from bell to bell, Monday through Friday, and he's very generous with his time. You can get all your questions answered usually, and great place to just pull up a chair and shorten your learning curve. That same feed gets handed over to one of us. I did the Tuesday feed this afternoon, lots of good questions, had a lot of people in there as well, and just another place to have a ability to see visually what it is we want to help demonstrate for you. If you're having a problem in support chat, a lot of times people will kick you over to this room to have you visually demonstrate it. We can kick it back and forth and chat in the questions and answer. Works much better than speaking over a phone and pointing in the air at things. But daily support session, as I mentioned, is every day at noon on that same live feed that mirrors Barry's room, and you can get to that live feed from that redirect there at the bottom, /live, trade-ideas.com /live will take you there every day. And that's that. All right, so let's get started on what we want to talk about today. Just a reminder that Trade Ideas is a great being. A human being can't really do it themselves. I've tried doing it, and it's hard to do it without Trade Ideas, and Trade Ideas really can't do it itself. Even though the AI is an interesting concept, we see that the users of the AI that work together with it in a symbiotic fashion, letting the AI generate the idea in real time, but then the human takes over and always does seem to do a better job at risk management once the trade is open and determining when and how much to sell and where and why, and bringing in all the nuances that are coming in real time. So let's get started. What we're going to talk about today, just kind of a similar pattern, a market recap, some AI recap trades. The trade of the week has not triggered. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about last week's trade of the week. Probably time to look at a sector glance here as we're now squarely into the new year and things are trying to maybe jockey for position. We can see what sectors are maybe tired and what sectors might be ready to go next. And then we had a little fun last week going through with some charts. The scan that we've been using pretty much a lot lately for the trade of the week, the A table, junior scan. We're going to play a game and go through that again and see if you guys can guess which ones kind of stand out to me, and we'll talk about why. And then we'll finish up with chart requests as usual. We can take a dozen of them if you guys want me to look at. You might not always like the answer we give. We'll start with the S&P 500 ETF known as the Spargo. It's been just quite almost an even no here. We're back above the rising 10 period. Look like I see a setup right here. These are electric vehicles have been doing really. There's no harm, no other than what we've talked.
Kind of going sideways for the month
down here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There we are.
Facebook actually has. That's all I really got. They just seem like they're consolidating
from you. So I'm going to minimize my questions panel so I can see it. It was a bit this action lately, and that but let's go. This is not the norm, guys. We know this is not the norm. There will be bad days in any strategies out there for sure. But I wanted to talk to you guys because I had a one-on-one today with a guy. He was one of maybe just kind of wanted to turn on the machine and let it run and let Holly get in and out of all the positions. it's a tough game. It was not designed for that, and I think we need to talk about it more when we have these webinar strategies coming into today. Just very much like we saw today, there's usually going to be a few shorts in there at least, a little counterintuitive. Maybe minutes of the day when Holly's rushing out, and I'm not saying those can't be winners. I've seen after the market open that do very well, but these are things you need to play around with and practice with. Really, a couple of months, I would think. And don't just rush in and think, hey, I'm going to jump in, Holly. I've heard all these great things about it. I'm just going to turn everyone on and let it, run and that's not what we designed it for. And I'm not going to break down any trades today, man. So if I have any, all right. He goes, let's see, please, let's see, please. Good question. Somebody asked, please explain. Well, I treat Holly like very good alerts, okay? And the reason I say very good alerts because I know they've been optimized and back to get some really good alerts. And what I'll point out today, and sideways, it did have some decent volume. This can be a auto trade, but I think maybe, like I said, new. And I'm sorry that don't make sense to you. It's just kind of the way.
In the lead-in, it's a human and machine symbiotic relationship.
Exactly.
One can't do one without the other. You need both, but there's a time and a place for you to step in and manage.
Exactly. So.
All right, well, we're good.
You got some stuff.
Let's see.
Okay.
It's just funny how maybe even put an alert. Be the same A-Table Junior gave us on Friday DGLY and $6 under $5, but this week, there we go. We had this right here. That's acquired a little bit more candle closed above the rising moving average. That's A-OK. And triggers tomorrow, the Wednesday, so we have some time during the week to depress me. Now, Atlanta closed on saying, just forget it. Portion of the ones that have been strong and probably the ones that we don't want $4 to attempt to challenge here. Real quick, have pulled back, rather deep pull XI, which is very some mess back down here, but looks like it reclaimed its 50-day move. And it's already been a 3-day breakout in biotech land. Not going to chase that. There's the Qs. We'll call it cup and hand, moving sideways 5 or 6 days. That look to give you the information. The shell, the cloud. Can't find too many sectors that don't. The ones that really stood out to me though, is I went bad either. They had a nice little breakout. They XLE. Yeah, it's a high-low. It's just a basic blue arrow. That looks to be all right. Interesting. Somebody else, 30 or 40 or 50 ideas in there. How do you click on the 1, 4, or 5 green candles and they need a pullback or a few different looks for kind of what I'm looking for? It's going to be hard. So if you missed a question, you'll have to go to info@trade-ideas.com and one of us will happily follow up. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to from the AIA. Rhythms like to hit their point. Sometimes, look, it did it on the morning drive down. Again, that's where they like. It's almost like you clear to move higher. When we go to almost GR, you guys are right now. SSYS looked good. Let's do one more. We'll do one more. It's RA. Pretty nice, just 3, 4, 5 days out of. Okay, so those were all from 43, 49%. WKWR. That would be Guess, the clothing. MDRX, I think, because I said I already like SBH, EO, looking similar. ER. We will do your guys' symbols next, but let's stinker. It didn't do anything. Avaya, AV, GEVO, there it is. VFF. GPRO, KIRK, IMMR, Zynga, RLGY, OSUR, ALKS, MBIO, BNGO, bingo was his name-o, and the last one, Playa, PLYA. All right, You don't have to send them through, but I want to go back, and there was a couple that, you know, you might have thought, well, gee, why he didn't have that on there? We can always discuss that, but these are the ones that caught my eye. Maybe they jive with a few you got. And again, if you guys can just pick up 3 or 4 of these, I think you did okay, because, you know, in reality, there might have been 12, but I picked 10. Anyway, the ones I liked, kind of in the order. AR was the first one. I liked that pullback, and it was very close, if not to filling that gap, very close, maybe touching tomorrow, but a nice pullback there. I liked one called MGY, nice sideways action. Looks like a lot of the other things we've been liking. I passed on Guess, but I did like AEO. It just seemed like a cleaner chart to me. I can't remember why I didn't like Guess. I liked MTDR. Very similar to, is that, it's crude petroleum. It looks like Guess and the other ones, but same kind of a chart. Sideways action, just looking for a reason. I liked Levi. This was one of the few pullbacks I liked. There was another pullback in there, but I didn't like it as much as Levi. That one, 3-4 days of red candles, and bang, you're back right above the moving averages. Pretty healthy pullback on that one. I like, so if somebody said yes to that one, you got a good one, because that was kind of off the radar. I really like Kirkland. I don't know what it is. I kind of like the, I like the wedge. It's back above all its moving averages here, and got kind of a nice little wedge going there. Retail, Kirkland, Costco. I don't want to get
Also kind of a cup and handle there too as well.
Thank you.
Possibly.
Yeah, exactly. I see what you're saying. Kind of like this, right? Let me get it. Kind of like that. Right?
Yep.
That's what you're seeing. I liked Zenga. Zenga was messy, but man, let me try that again. Boy, if it can get a close above that $10, look at how hard it's fighting, man. If it's fake out there for sure, but if it can get a close above $10, this one might have a lot of pent-up demand in it. We'll see.
Yep.
The very well last one we looked at, I liked Playa. I just liked the way it was consolidating near the top. And again, 2 more. We liked FUV. We talked about FUV, FUV. And then lastly, I really liked this Avaya. I bet you like that one too. This is a different one. We haven't talked much about this, but a really nice gap up. This is actually in the Swing Traders book, the ebook that we have. A really nice push higher, sideways, sideways, sideways. Didn't even fill the gap. Moving average comes up from underneath. It might not even touch. This one could have some follow through. It really hasn't broken too far out yet. And I sometimes call this the horseshoe pattern. Over a few days, it gaps up. Can't quite fill the whole gap. And a lot of times that horseshoe just becomes kind of a foregone conclusion. So those were the ones I liked. Hopefully you guys got some good overlap in there and you picked off a few. There were probably a few that I missed that we could have said were good. Vuzi was one of them. I saw that bill that you could have gone either way and guessed. We talked about that. Okay, so let's go into the final segment here before we bring Scott back, and we can look at 10 or 12 of your charts that you want to see, and I'll give you the honest opinion, you know, the unvarnished truth. Andy will as well. Looks like the first one that came in there was from Ron. What do we think of Fubo? I'm going to start with Ron, and if I missed you, you can retype it. Big short supply, he says, 62% short the float, correct. This thing really got going back here. Big, deep pullback. Boy, I would have loved to have seen that thing bounce off that moving average. But it's trying to have second life here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to wait and not trust it until it posts a close above that red 20-day moving average, or at least let this 10 period start to hold it for a few more days and show that it wants to do something. It still could be kind of in no man's land there. Let's see. All right, TRIP, T-R-I-P. That looks really nice. You've been paying attention. I don't know where you found that one. Maybe it's in one of our scans. Maybe it's in the 8 table. Let's see. Nope, it couldn't be in the 8 table senior because it only has a score of 78. If it had a score of 80, it might show up in that scan. But beautiful move higher, lovely consolidation, and that nice bottoming wick today. I'll tell you what, if I had money to burn and I was looking for, you know, long swing trades to get into, these are the kinds that I would consider at the close, because 5 minutes to the close, it shows me its hand. And sometimes the next day, that gap up, and you don't even want to chase it because things happen so quickly on the open. That looks like a nice play. Whoever brought up TRIP, that was a good one. All right, Paul has SBH. Just a trender, just a grinding trend, you know, a couple days up, couple days back. There's nothing to hate about that one. I would just say in the risk management, back here, it tried to break the 20 and couldn't do it. So going forward, The 20 is your bogey, 20 is your target. You don't want that red line, the 20 SMA, to be broken. Okay. ARKK. Very nice trending stock. Again, it might be a little too far ahead of itself. It's just kind of asking for a pullback at any point here, but nothing bad to say about that. You entered 2 also. I think you had BIB also. It looks very much the same. You know, if anything, it's just probably going to be looking for a reason at some point to try and come back and have a date with these moving averages, and that's going to be okay. It keeps the trend intact. There's still higher lows. You know, if you want to channel this thing, you want to be starting thinking about selling as it gets to the high end of these channels. All right, BVXV. Never heard that one. Well, it's trying to do something, but obviously pharmaceutical, it got a horrible result, and it's just trying to claw itself out. I'll tell you, just this is the beginnings, you know, the mustard seeds of a move right there. If it can stay above these moving averages and those 3 can stay above each other, then it might try and do something, and you can just see how it goes along the way. NIO, we haven't looked at that one recently. Another nice pullback. You know, I was looking at RIDE this morning, but I didn't pull the trigger. Boy, that looks nice at the end of the day. I'm not really looking for anything at the moment, but RIDE and NIO are 2 EVs, electric vehicles, and they look really good going into the close. So if you were somebody that's been stalking these things and was looking for an entry as a swing trader, I would say at the close, well, you can still get it if you want, but those were 2 nice closes, RIDE and NIO for electric vehicles. Very good example. WKHS, is that a stock? Oh yes, that was the one that was the other pullback. You're right. Good one. Good eye, Jason. I know exactly what you're talking about. There was another one in there that was a pullback that didn't quite fit the way I liked. And why did I not like it? I didn't like it, Jason, because 1-2 days it closed below that moving average. All right. I would have loved to have seen that. Boom. I would have loved. I probably would have bought that every time. But you know what? But it's getting wishy-washy down here. It might use that 20 as a backstop, but it wasn't as clean as the Levi that I liked. I passed on that one. I went to Levi instead because Levi has a better close above. It's not getting spun out by the moving averages. All right, we'll do about 3 or 4 more here, then we'll bring in Scott. NIO Warehouse. Okay, we'll do Plug. That one's been just going crazy. So many gaps in this one. It's hard to trust, but let's just see what happens as this moving average comes up to snake underneath it. What does the 5-day moving average look like on that one? I bet you it looks pretty decent. I have to go to my other chart though. Hang on a second. That blue line, yeah, that breached it yesterday. I've stayed away from Plug. It's just, I don't like all the gaps back and forth. Gap doji, gap doji. Well, that's no fun. You want to have some play during the day. U1, little sloppy, all right? Kind of like that last one. I would have loved to have seen this thing really take off on that day, but then it closed 1. I got it back today. It closed back above, but this thing's really spiky. And when these things jam up and back down and the sellers just jump in at new highs and push it all the way back down with a big topping tail, you do that 3 or 4 times and the chart just starts to not look interesting to me. I start to pass on it. It's not a clean look that I would like. All right, we will do 3 more. Nicola, Kindy, and RFIL for Ron, and we'll end on RFIL, and then we'll bring Scott in. So another of the EVs, Nicola is trying. It's really trying here. It's got its 50-day moving average back. Doesn't look bad. It's probably the other ones are helping, Neo and Ride. That's not a bad look right there. I would give that one a shot. If you really wanted to take a chance, I like the way it's closed and consolidating right above the 50-day moving average. KNDI got thrown back down below. So this one's got some work to do. It needs to close above that blue line first and foremost in the next couple of days to get the flavor back for the bulls. All right, last one for you guys today, and then we'll bring Scott in, RFIL. And that doesn't look bad. It's climbing out of these messy moving averages here. I would just say keep an eye on that rising 10-period moving average, and that would probably keep you in the safe zone. Anything you want to add? Content next week.
Thanks, Steve. And import into your layout. Yes, wherever you listen to your pods. catch that new. Holly New Year is a code that's good this month to save 15% off the first month or year of any Trade Ideas subscription or upgrade. So grab that and get started with Trade Ideas. Follow Steve on Twitter at Today Trader. You can also follow at Trade Ideas. We've got some other handles out there you can find. Trade Ideas Pro is the Facebook page to find and like. And info at trade-ideas.com is the best place to send all your questions. It goes to our help desk and gets you the help you need as quickly as possible. So thanks, Steve, Andy, and friends. We'll get the recording up later on tonight or tomorrow and send you an email about how to find it.
All right. See you guys next time.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see you on Thursday.